What is going on, beautiful people?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Nia Renee here with How to Love a Battered Woman, also known as Baldy.
You got Mr. Lee Hammock, better known as Mental Healers, known as The Beast. Welcome to today's podcast, Baldy in the Beast Podcast.
Baldy and the Beast Podcast. So what's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. Just vibing, maintaining, living.
Yeah, going
living.
off the vibes, living it up, not giving up. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about idolizing toxic relationships.
That struggle love, the ride or dies. Do you need to be a ride or die to be happy? Do you need to go through that toxic phase of a relationship to be happy?
Let me tell you something right now. I'll ride, but I ain't dying. I may ride, but I'm not dying. If I gotta die, will you drop me off at the corner somewhere, please?
That's what I tell people all the time. I think people just like ride and die. It's like we're gonna ride until we die together. I didn't know it's ride or die. Sometimes
this
you
is
ride.
Not Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah. Sometimes you ride. Sometimes you die. Sometimes you get ejected through the windshield and the driver lives. Yeah. So it's ride or die. Sometimes you die.
Yeah, but it's not ride and die. It's ride or die.
It's ride or
you have a choice, and I'm not dying. I'll ride with you, but you got to drop me off somewhere if I got to die. I'm not sticking with you. There's so much going on social media right now, right? There's so many things of like, obviously we've touched on Krishan and Blueface before, and I just feel like there's so much idolization or glamorization of toxic relationships. Like that's supposed to be the ideal relationship, and it's not. This idea that you're supposed to struggle before you can get to happiness in a relationship is just simply a fallacy. Like that shit is not true.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think you have to go through the bad stuff to get to the really good stuff. You have to experience, like, you're not really truly in love with somebody unless they hurt you some way, shape, or form.
Yes, and like that's not true. And like a lot of us grew up watching that shit on TV. I know a lot of people love and watch Tyler Perry movies, which I do love and watch Tyler Perry movies and all that other stuff. But that's not how relationships are supposed to be.
Some people grew up with it in their household, so some people
I grew up in it.
Yeah, I do. I was like, I don't leave that part out. It was like some people grew up with it in their household. You get it reinforced. So you see it at home. You see it on TV, then you get on TikTok and you see somebody talking about I'm glad we had our toxic phase. Everybody wants to get away from toxic relationships. Not me. I'm glad we had our toxic phase.
I'm so glad we got the toxic phase, or we would not be the
so glad you cheated on me and had 3 babies. If you wouldn't have done that and I wouldn't have forgiven you, like we would never have been grown to the point we are right now. Thank you.
We would never be happy.
Thank you. Even though we don't have kids together, I'm glad you had those 3 on me. You know what I mean? It just
my bonus kids.
Yeah, my bonus babies. Yeah, it's a reward for our hard work and staying with you. I just so do I get it? So if y'all are new here, I have narcissistic personality disorder. I'm what a lot of people would consider a very toxic person. I've been the toxic person in a lot of my relationships. I've dealt with toxic women as well, but like, we're not gonna get into them. It's just like, even I, through my infinite knowledge, my 37 years on Earth, I don't think people should go through a toxic phase. I don't think is as valuable as people put to it. I think a lot of people who glamorize toxic relationships or going through or staying through cheating and whatever, or trying to justify them being in that relationship.
Yeah, I think it's just it's weird because I think it's they're trying to make it make sense in their mind, which is why they're coming up with all of these reasons. As they're just trying to make it make sense. They're trying to justify it. So I agree with that point. But yeah, I absolutely grew up in a household where like my mother and my father had a loving relationship for a little bit, and then it became toxic because my mother is not, she's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But she always had this idea where she would always say, you got to fight for your man, you got to fight for your love, you got to fight for your relationship. Though I don't disagree with that, but in the terms of her saying it, where you physically got to fight people for your relationship, like that's not. Listen, you come to me as a woman, that's cool. I appreciate you. You did your due diligence. I'm gonna let you go that way, and he could go that way, and we good. Like
when I hear people say fight for your relationship, especially like when it's a person that is abusing you or doing you wrong, like you're not gonna fight for this relationship. I always say like how do I fight for this relationship? Who do I fight? Do I have? You're doing me wrong. Do I fight you? Am I supposed
Right.
to
Like,
fight you?
right.
You're the one who's doing me wrong. You're treating me badly. So do I fight you? Like, should we square up right now? Because like when people say fight for the relationship or whatever, you're not willing to fight for it. Typically, that comes from a place of manipulation. You know,
Yeah.
because what the person that's telling you to fight for the relationship, would they fight for it? Would they be if the shoe was on the other foot, if you were to cheat back or hit back or have a baby by somebody else, would they stay through the same thing that you were staying through? And people would ask me that. I'm like, no, no, absolutely no. That's not how my mind works in a lot of these situations, in a lot of these circumstances.
Listen, I'm Googling one of the song I used to listen to by Kelly Rowland. And what you just said triggered me to remember some of her song lyrics from this song called Down on Love. I don't know if y'all have ever heard it. So if y'all have never heard this song, it's called Down on Love by Kelly Rowland. And it gets to a part at the end of the song where she says, we want two different things at two different times. You know how the story goes. Easy come, easy go. If I could change everything of our lives, I just might try. But then again, would you do the same? Would you give it all up? Would I be the only one calling out your name? Would you return a favor? Would you do the same? Would I be the only one calling out your name? So basically what she's saying is like, if I were to fight for you, would you be willing to do the same thing to me, for me? Like, would you reciprocate? And I used to listen to that song so much when I was in the relationship with my ex.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's like, it's true though. It's like, I'm over here fighting hard for this relationship to stay. But if I were doing the things that he was doing, would he return that favor? Would he be fighting as hard as I am to keep this relationship alive? And I don't think that's true. And you're right,
No.
when it comes to it being used as a manipulation tactic, because it's like, I've been fighting this whole entire time, but now that I'm ready to give up and walk away from this relationship, you're saying I don't care no more.
Yep.
Like I never cared.
You never cared. You don't want to
I
fight for
never
us.
cared.
But that's part of the dynamic too, though, because typically the aggressor or the abuser or the person who is in the wrong typically wouldn't put up with what they put you through. There's a country song from my country folks. It's called "Hard to Love." And he says it in the song. He's like, I couldn't do what you did. I could not put up with what I put you through. You better than me. And he says it. He's like, I'm hard to love. I was like, God. A lot of podcasters that say, yeah, I cheated on my wife before we got married. I cheated on my husband before we got married. I cheated on my husband during the marriage. I cheated on my wife during the marriage. And it's always the perspective of the cheater that is telling people how to get over it. They're telling people you should push through. I hadn't grown up yet. I wasn't there yet. And like I said, the cheatee, the person who's been cheated on or abused, typically doesn't have to share that same viewpoint. Or if they share that viewpoint, it seems like they just become a parrot. They're just parroting whatever their partner has told them. Yeah, you gotta be. You never have. You don't know if you really love somebody until you lost it. You come close to losing it. That's why I had to do it, to make sure that I loved you. I cheated because I wanted to make sure that you're the one. Like if I wouldn't have slept with these 18 other people, how would I know that you were the one? Like explain it to me. I know you hate it, but explain it to me. Why? How am I supposed to know? I'm just messing with you. But that's how people. But that's the mindset, though.
No, it's the mindset, and that shit pisses
me
off. It makes me so mad that is like, because then it's like, right, like how I'm sitting here stuck trying to answer that question. There's no way. There's no good answer for me to answer that question, because it's like, you know what, you're right. Like
there's no good answer unless you just try again. There you go. Yeah. Don't talk no more. Just love me. Just love me. Don't talk no more. Just let love take over. Let love, or let God lead.
We're not gonna talk about Sky Daddy today.
Is he that? Sometimes it's let God lead.
Oh my God! You know what? When you said that, right? When my ex and I broke up, and I went to go exchange the extra stuff that I left at his house or whatever. And he told me, he was like, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this wedding ring that I got you. And I was like, how are you gonna sit here and say, like, how did you buy me an engagement ring, or how did you buy a ring for us to get engaged or get married or whatever? And you literally told me we weren't ready for that. Like, you read me for filth. This mother literally had the nerve to look me dead in my eyes and said, I don't know, I was just going to let God take the lead.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I was just going to put it in God's hands.
Oh my goodness. But it's doing a lot of hyper vulnerable moments, like super vulnerable moments when stuff like that happens. Proposals, let's move in together. Let's take the next step. It has to, sometimes the only way you get there in somebody's relationship is to go through the toxicity, because that's the only way you get there. You haven't committed to me in forever. I'm leaving. I'm done. You cheated on me again. Like, look, let's get married right now. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready. I didn't know, but right now in this moment, since you caught me cheating again,
it's a manipulation tactic.
I knew you were the one. I know right now you're the one. Get married.
He
and people
sent me, literally as I was driving away, he sent me a text message and he said, just FYI, this is the ring that I got custom ordered for you. And I knew he was doing that to try, and he was like dangling the carrot. He was dangling the carrot.
Boy,
that's what it was.
Carrot. Don't even talk about that. Boy, the carrot. I talk to people every single day. If y'all don't know, I do my one-on-ones over Zoom. So does Nia. Nia does relationship coaching, healthy dating, all that other good stuff. I've seen people just get so toxic and manipulative when the other person is finally deciding to walk away. They'll start posting stuff on Facebook, posting pictures of sending you screenshots of rings that they not even a real rings. They send you screenshots of the Google ad for the wedding rings. It's just like engagement ring. The first thing they see on Google, it says ad at the top. You ain't even looking at that like this is the ring I was looking at for you.
And then he said
ad.
This was like 6 or 7 days before Valentine's Day. We had broken up, and he said he was going to propose on Valentine's Day, and I was like, first of all, that's corny as shit. Like,
it's so corny. It's a cop out.
He was doing everything, and so I had sent it to my stepmom, and she had looked like through like reverse images. Like you can go see if someone took a picture off of Google or whatever, and she said she couldn't find it anywhere. It didn't come back as like so it's probably true that he was looking at these things or whatever, because he did say, I remember a couple times he was trying to ask me what my dad was up to, and wanted to take my dad to lunch to ask my dad for my hand in marriage, but it just didn't make sense after everything, like the way that our relationship unfolded and how we broke up. I knew still at the end of the day that was a manipulation tactic. Like you were still trying to manipulate me back into the relationship by saying that you were going to propose and we were going to get engaged and all that other stuff. And I was like, I'm still not coming back regardless. Because why would I want to be married to somebody who is treating me like this?
Because the what if is the what if. That's what it's always the what if. Like, what if they're not? What if they're telling the truth? What if this is the event that actually made this person change? What if this is the final straw? What if they're telling them the truth and they just had to do that? That's a common theme that I hear so much when I'm talking to people. It's just like literally, what if they are right? What if they are telling them the truth? But I always ask, what if they're not?
Yeah.
What if they what more, like which direction do you have more to lose in? The what if they are telling them the truth, or what if they are not telling them the truth? If you got so much time invested in it already, 5 years invested in it already, do you have 5 more? 5 years from right now, if nothing has changed, they haven't went to therapy, they haven't gotten better, they haven't changed how they treat you. If nothing has changed, if you can peek into the future, you can put these blue light glasses on and see into the future, like, okay, and you can see into the future and nothing has changed, would you be happy with your decision? Would you be happy with your decision to stay? Or would you feel like you wasted 5 more years of your life?
Well, yeah. Then when I talk to clients about it all the time, I'm just like, listen, and this goes back in my intentional dating workbook, right? This is one of the things. Do their actions do the words match their actions?
Yeah.
If he's been saying this for, like you said, we'll just use the 5-year span. If he's been saying this for the last 5 years, but literally has done nothing to achieve these things that he's saying, that man is just pumping you full of smoke. That man's just gassing you. That's it. He's not that like man, woman, person. They're just gassing you, but they have no intentions on fulfilling it. And you keep holding on to the hope that maybe one day that they will. And you have to just look at the reality of the situation of they're not. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to, they would have done that shit a long time ago. That's why I tell my clients all the time. If they wanted to, they would.
Yeah, if they wanted to, they would. But then at the end, sometimes when you ask that question, are the words and the actions matching up? The actions at the end might. Yeah. They've been saying they're gonna marry you for 5 years. What's changed now? Will you marry me? Boom.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like if it's now at the end, all of a sudden they're doing that because they're trying to keep you. I have a client who she separated from her husband last year, and she wanted to they've been together for 18 years. She was trying to see, like I'm not getting what I need from this relationship. She was watching my content for a long, like she was like a silent follower watching my content for a long time. And she was just absorbing my content. And then finally she was like, all right, I got to separate from this person. And, she kept saying, like, if you're not going to go to therapy, then like, this is not going to work out. And I told her, I was like, don't give that man a timeline. Don't say if you got to go to therapy by this time, because if you set a timeline, they're going to hit that timeline and they're going to go, they're doing that as a trigger point. Like, so they're doing that just to achieve that. And then they're going to go back to doing the BS that they've always been doing. And then she finally got to a point where she realized like his actions were not matching up with the words that he kept continuously saying that he was going to do. And she was like, okay, I'm filing for divorce. And she finally filed for a divorce from this man. And now all of a sudden
he's in therapy.
He's like, I told you I was going to. Yes. Now all of a sudden he's in therapy. And she's like, it's too late. It's too late. It's way too late. Y'all shouldn't have to struggle to get to you. That's a fallacy. It's a myth. Struggle love is a myth. I've done a few videos on this already. Struggle love is a myth. There are normal things that you go through in a relationship, right? Yes. Like right now, my husband and I are trying to financially recover from me having 3 brain surgeries last year.
Yeah.
Right. And financials are always like, that's the number one reason why couples get divorced, is because it's hard to have a conversation. I would rather stand in front of my husband and physically explain to him down to the details how my ex assaulted me, sexually assaulted me, all of those things. I would rather be vulnerable in him that way than tell him what I spent my money on last week.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just hard to talk about. There's a lot of financial trauma. There's a lot of trauma surrounded, or anxiety surrounded around money, right? But financial conversations it's hard navigating when your significant other, your spouse, or your partner gets sick, right? Or something happens with the kids, or you guys are having a hard time trying to figure out what to do financially, or you guys are just trying to navigate how to talk about certain things in your relationship. Relationships are not always going to be easy, right? Like, no. I have healthy communication in with my husband, but we still have a hard time trying to talk about our financial situation, right? Yeah. So things are not always going to be picture perfect. But when you say, fight for your relationship, I'm going to fight to make my relationship work. And we're going to fight to figure out how to make our financial situation align, get to the goals that we want to get to. Yeah. But I'm not physically going to fight my man to get our relationship to work.
So that just made a lot of sense, though, because like what you just said is the actual fight. Fight is me when we are doing something together. Either we going at each other, or we going to we fighting together to get towards the goal. Yes. When you are fighting for a relationship, because one person is doing the other person wrong, that is not a fight. That is a one-sided. That's like a slaughter right there. There's I need a better word for it, but it isn't a fight. One side is like you getting, like you're getting sucker punched. You know what I mean? Somebody stole off on you. Yeah, something like that.
You get snuck.
Yeah, you get snuck. Yeah, you get snuck. You got slept, and you waking up and trying to figure out who hit you. Like, who hit me? Which one y'all hit me? Right. Just that dynamic right there. So there's not actually fighting. So I see people do glamorize it a lot. Like, I know we talk about Christian Rock and whatever. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of people in the comment section like, I need me a Christian. Like, no, why? Why would y'all want this right here? Why would y'all want this fighting dynamic?
But see,
Blueface, my boo. I just like, why would y'all?
But when people say I need me a Christian, I don't think they mean the toxic. And hear me out. I don't think they mean the toxic version of her so much as they mean they want somebody that's not going to leave them when they on some bullshit. Like, that's what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they want somebody that's going to ride or die for them.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That clears it up. I agree with
now,
that. Because some people,
I don't know.
So that makes sense though, right there. Because some people they want the Christian that will, just stay with them through whatever they do. You know what I mean? So I get that dynamic right there.
Yeah. That's what they want. But when
Yeah.
it comes
Okay.
to
Yeah.
blue,
I was just like, why would y'all want this
know.
toxicity? Because I see, I'm looking at it as the whole. Why
Yeah.
would y'all want this back and forth toxicity? You just peel back a layer on it. That's
Yeah,
good.
people be like, I want me a Krishan because she be like physically fighting for him. She she holds that man down. She physically fights him. Like when they say I think when they say that they want them a Krishan. They want somebody that's gonna be as dedicated as.
So
they don't realize that's a trauma bond.
Because I've barely ever I see people say I want a Krishan, but I rarely ever see people say I want a blue. I want
because they know the difference. They don't. Want
I want
somebody,
a blue. So that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I got you right there. That makes sense because I rarely do people. I see a lot of people just like I need this right. I need that level of commitment. I need that. So it makes sense what you just said. Yeah. I never see people say I want a blue.
No, because they don't.
Because they don't. But would they fuck with them? Yeah, they'll fuck with them because you see it all the time. Like. That's why people keep doing it. This is a whole different episode, but like that's why people keep doing stuff like that. People keep going to them. Like why don't Blueface stop? Why would he stop y'all? Why would people change up something that's working for them?
Yep.
Why would they change it up if it's working for them? If people are going to continue to just lay down in front of him, give him what he wants, like why would he change up who he is? Because people think that they're going to get treated differently by this person. But that's for a different episode, y'all. Because that was going to go. There's a rant coming, but. I'll rant next time or something like that. But like, you get to this dynamic where people they glamorize their relationship, because I guess they make money off of it too, But a lot of times, people when you don't make money, there's nothing but kids involved in toxicity and abuse. It's just abuse, and they're like, no, I don't think people need to go through. I really don't think people need to go through that. We stay together for the kids. Y'all going back and forth to jail.
Please stay together for the kids. Yeah, I wish my parents didn't stay together for the kids.
Yeah, so exactly. So back in the day, people want that old love. Yes. I think people
don't understand what old love means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your grandma and your grandpa, like my grandma and my grandpa.
We
been
talked about this before.
Years.
Like they don't understand.
They don't like each other.
They don't understand what old love. But they could not be together because it's like. That's how that shit was set up, right? It was set up where they just literally financially they could not leave each other. Like they couldn't leave. That's not old love. That's just how it was back in the 50s and the 60s and whatever the case was. They couldn't get out there. Yeah, their grandparents don't like each other. They ain't looked each other in the eye in years. Like we had this conversation. That was our first podcast episode. Like. It's struggle love bothers me because I genuinely believe that people just don't understand the concept of what a trauma bond is. And when you're stuck in a trauma bond, it's hard to leave. It's hard to get out of that addiction. But then also when you grow up and you realize that your parents are in trauma bonds or whatever the case is, you think that those types of relationships are normal. You think that you're supposed to. So back when I was in my early 20s and like 19, 20, I met my physically abusive ex. And I literally thought that that's the relationship I was supposed to be in. Like I thought that because it was still glamorized of like, okay, we fight. And you see it on TV. We fight, we argue, we smacking the shit out of each other, and then at the end of it, they have some real passionate sex. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's how this is supposed to be. That's how this is supposed to be. No, I'm not trying to get my head knocked between the stove and the refrigerator every single day and then get my back beat into the headboard. I'm not trying to do that every single day. Just give me the back beat into the headboard.
Yeah, that's the part that gets people addicted sometimes is because of that right there. Because we all in the moments of heat and argument and passion, y'all end up fucking, and then just like you get addicted to the person more. So I don't even think like. I wouldn't even call it struggle love no more because it gets to the point where I don't even think you love the person anymore. I think it's struggle addiction. It's like you trying to kick a drug addiction or whatever.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know what the trauma bond is, just think Stockholm syndrome. Like you get bond where people fall in love with their kidnapper. People fall in love with their abuser and all the other stuff. If y'all don't know what the trauma bond is, because not everybody is in the world of narcissistic toxic abuse.
And it's just like, so it's like you get addicted to the highs. So it's like when you're when you're at your low, you're like, well, but I know how the high feels. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna stay here until I can get that high.
The good times. You want to get there. You want to get back to the good times. That's what you want. So many people want to get back to the good times.
But the good times were never real. That's what it's hard. It's hard.
That's the thing right there. The good times were never real. So try to convince somebody of that. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the dynamic that people, I feel like a lot of people struggle with, is that me being the toxic person, for me it did feel real at the beginning. So that's why it feels real to the other person, because I'm being real up front. But sooner or later, a disconnect happens, and I'm not real anymore. I'm not, this stuff is not real anymore for me, and I disconnect emotionally. So that's why I just tell people, because like it's hard for somebody to be like, we've been together 10 years. You tell me none of it was real. People break down and try to prove you wrong. They just like, no, I'm going to stay because it felt real. You can't tell me that wasn't real. You can't tell. And people argue with me. I just like, I had to, I would just, it depends. I would just say, but just because if it's real or not, how are they treating you right now?
But you're holding on to something.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
which is not fair. Which is a fair thing, right? It's a normal response. But you're holding on to this picture that they painted you in the beginning, that they never displayed to you again after that.
This is what I say right here,
because it's like, they showed me this, so I know it's possible for them to be this way.
Yes.
So I'm holding on to us being able to get back to that. They're just going through something right now, but we can get back to that.
You have to update your relationship resume. You know what I mean? You have to. It's just like you got to update it. It's just like, we've been together for 3 years. Okay, you're not qualified for the position no more. Like, what are your qualifications now? You're no longer qualified for the position anymore. I know what they did for you in the past, but the company has changed. You have changed. You've grown. You've expanded. Like, if you are a company, you've expanded in your own self. So it's just like that person who works for you, your your partner. What have they done lately? You have to update your resume. You have to update your relationship resume. Just like in professional sports.
What are they doing for their own personal growth? Are they doing things outside of the norm?
They're just in a bad spot right now.
Or are they just sitting there and they're doing the bare minimum to get that paycheck?
They're just in a bad spot right now. They're just going through it right now. He's struggling. He'll be better, but just like
he's just got a lot going on right now, and they find ways to justify. And sometimes that may be true, right? But that's in a healthy relationship.
In a healthy relationship, that's the difference right there. In a healthy relationship,
he's just got a lot. I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. I'm not my normal self. I will bounce back.
You're talking about it, but you're talking about it together. You're not just silent you're not silent and battling with it, and then treating somebody horribly, and then using that as an excuse for later on.
Yes, you're not using that as an excuse to fall back on that. Well, I'm sorry, I'm treating you this way because I'm just having a hard time right now because my dog died when I was 4.
His mom treated him bad when he was little, so. I know he's 45 now, but I just feel bad for him because I met his mom. Just like
I have a client. We talked yesterday actually, and they were like, "Well," and she's starting to come around. She sees it very clearly. Right? She was like, "Well, part of me feels bad because I know that his mother passed away 4 years ago." But he's still using that as an excuse as to why he's treating me this way. And I'm like, listen, I've never lost a parent, so I can't. I mean, I have I don't have my mom, but I've never lost. Like, say if my dad died, but you can't use that as it's been 4 years. So if you're still if you're still struggling with that, which is it's fair if you're still struggling with the loss of your parent. But what are you doing about that? Are you going to therapy? Are you trying to work through these things? Or are you just using that as a fallback excuse as to why I treat you like shit? I'm treating you like shit because my mom died 4 years ago and I'm not over it.
You have to communicate.
And I'm not in therapy. I'm not talking about it. I'm shutting down. I'm just going away and I'm not doing anything about it. Yes. And you're just going to have to accept the fact that my mom died 4 years ago and I'm not processing any of these things and I don't want to talk about it and I'm going to treat you like shit because of it.
Yes. There's difference between excuses and reasons, y'all. I just feel like that would help a lot of people just break through the excuses. Excuses tend to be, the come back to me on that one. I'm about to say excuses tend to be the reasons why people keep doing that.
But when you say right, so when we break that down even just a little bit more, right? I was raped when I was in high school. And it took me a long time to be able to come back around from being raped, right? And I could either stay a victim or I could become a survivor. You got to make a choice between being a victim or being a survivor. And I didn't want to stay in that place anymore where I felt so shut down from the world, where I didn't want to give myself in any matter of that, in any sense of what that meant. And I didn't want to be stuck there anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to work on these issues. I'm going to focus on, I'm going to do this for myself because I don't want to be in this barrier. I don't want to be stuck behind this barrier anymore. It comes a point in your life where you have to make a decision. Do I want to stay here and continue to feel this way, or do I want to get past it? Do I want to feel better? That's how I was been able to build my whole entire platform and help other people, because I made a decision that I didn't want to be a victim anymore. And I used to hate when people say that, right? You still just want to be a victim. You want to be there. It comes down to a mentality though. Like, do I want to stay mentally a victim, or do I want to be a survivor? I survived this, which means I'm no longer in that space anymore, and I'm working past it to get through the next phases of my life, because I don't want to stay there anymore. A lot of people stay in that zone, and it becomes their identity. That goes into toxic relationships. That goes into glamorizing toxic relationships, because you get stuck in this zone. You get stuck in this little space, this little pocket over here, and that's you don't. It becomes who you are. It becomes your identity. It becomes your story. You can't do anything else to get out of that.
We the couple that made it. Some people want to be the couple that made it and prove all the doubters wrong. You know, and some people get into that mindset where they want to prove people wrong. Like, you don't need to be with this person. This shit is horrible. Y'all are toxic as hell together. Like, we're going to prove the world wrong, baby. I know you didn't cheat on me. I know you didn't beat me up, but I'm going to stay through it. You know, it's just like, I'm going to prove them wrong. We're going to have babies. And sometimes can you come out on a positive end sometimes? What percentage would you label on it? I know it ain't 50%. You won't say 50% of the time, would you? No, you would say you would say way less. So let's just say there's a 5% chance that
I would say less than that. Right?
I would just say 5% just to put it into numbers. Yeah, let's say 5. Let's say 10%. Let's say 10% chance, 10%. Y'all. So this is my little analogy I like to use. There's 100 cups on the table, 100 little clear cups on the table, right? All of them had a clear liquid in it. All of it looks the same. 90 of those cups are poison. 10 of them are drinking water. Would you take the chance of, and they're all mixed in together, you cannot tell the difference. Would you take a chance of drinking one of those cups? Nope. You know, no, most people would say no. You know what I mean? Do I get a second chance? No, you one life. You get one life to live. So you taking a 90% chance of drinking poison. And like Nia said, the chances are probably less that it's going to come out positive. So 5% chance, 1% chance. You got 99 cups of poison on the table. You take a
I'm not gambling.
You're not gambling like that. Every once in a while, does somebody grab that cup and drink it? And like, I lived, yay. Every once in a while, but 99 people die.
And we are not sitting here, and we're not, shaming the couples that
where's the effort?
Able, to get to, able to get to that happiness or whatever, but trying to paint this picture of like, you have to go through that in order to get through this. That's false. It's not true. If it costs me my time, my energy, my peace, and my mental health and my sanity, it costs too much. I'm not paying for it. I'm not doing it. I'm not. At the end of the day, I was thinking about this the other day, because my husband's been working late a little bit last couple of days, and I was thinking about this. I was like, wow, it's so nice laying in bed not wondering if my husband is laying in bed with another bitch. Like, it's so nice not wondering or worried about if I'm being cheated on right now or lied to. It's so nice to not even have a second thought of if my husband is doing the wrong thing or the right thing. Like, it's just like that. It just, there's so much, there's a whole sense of peace that comes with that. And before, like, especially when I was younger and Instagram was just getting popping, and we were followers and all, trying to, you get a little taste of what it's like to have thousands of followers on social media. My ex used to really be in that, like, I would get DMs on top of DMs on top of DMs about what he was doing, them hoping we weren't together because Jesus. They had just slept with him.
Oh, and God.
It was crazy. There was this, I don't know if you were a part of this back then, but there's this thing called ask.me, FM where you could ask
Oh
sentient
yeah, I remember that.
anonymous
Yeah.
questions. I would never get any questions. I would always get like, where was one time on my birthday too,
Oof.
this girl left me a message. She's like, I really hope that guy that you posted on your Instagram isn't your boyfriend because we just had sex yesterday. And somebody else was like, yeah, like that he be picking me up in your Ford Fusion, like knew the car I was driving and everything, pick me up in your Ford Fusion while you was out work and
That's
all
the
of
same
like
car you
I
escaped in, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember you said that. You said
Yeah.
that's your escape vehicle.
That's my escape. That was my escape vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be coming when they would do it anonymously. Now,
Yeah.
then there would be other times when they would just do it just straight in my DMs, and then I would be able to see them, and like I would get about hundreds. Like, I'm just so glad I don't got to worry about that no more. Like
Yeah.
somebody, like
Peace.
it would be right now if somebody literally tried to come to me as a woman about my husband, I would laugh because Tyler is so introverted. He barely likes talking to me. He's not going to extend his energy to talk to other people, let alone women, but other people. Like, so it would just be so funny if somebody. He was like, if somebody came to you as a woman, like you would need, he was like, you need proof because I don't got time. Like I don't have the time. And I was like, I get it, but there's a sense of peace that comes with not worrying about if he out here for the streets. Like he's not like
that peace is, like I said, peace is priceless. You know,
peace is priceless. And once that trust is broken, in my opinion, is so incredibly hard to get it back. Like if you cheated on me and we made this relationship work, I don't know if I could ever just not think that you're out. Like anytime you don't text me back, or anytime you don't answer the phone when I call, anytime you just disappeared and you missing, my mind's gonna be like, well, he's balls deep in another bitch right now. Like,
but that's how I go. A lot of people can't get past that, and typically the person who wants to get past it the most is the person who did it.
It's the person who did it, and they're gonna make you feel like, hell, I did it, but when are you gonna let it go?
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes they'll make it seem like, and if they get used to it, if they do it too much, they think you're okay with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes they want to. When it gets to the point, they won't even try to hard to lie to you no more, y'all. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, I was over there. You're not cool with it? Really?
You keep saying,
really? Hey, why are you still here then? Because I love you. It's a struggle love. You know, it's literally struggle love. But like I said, it's
if you can't handle it, why are we still in a relationship? Okay, well, I want to leave. See, I knew you never cared.
Yep. The dynamic, y'all.
It's a mind game.
You can have
I did that in my first actually I did that in my first Trauma Bond short film where I was talking about that. It was like, why are you still here? Maybe you should just leave. Okay, maybe I will leave. See, I knew you didn't love me. I knew I was waiting for you to not care no more.
Me, did you?
You never cared.
I knew you didn't care. I just waiting for you to say it.
You never cared.
I just wait for you to say it. You know how I don't think you know. I know I hurt you, but I don't think you know how much that hurt me to hear you say that to me. I really don't think you care. I really don't think you know how much that hurt me to hear you open your mouth and say that to me. I know what I did, but I would never say that to you.
I would never say that to you. I would never make you feel this way.
Yeah.
But you
manipulation, y'all. Manipulation doesn't work without some good times. That's what, like you said earlier, people are always trying to get back to the good times. But there's good times, but the good times is like, the little scales. The bad times weigh way more than the scale than the good times. Y'all just looking at the good times, but the good times were good though. Damn, but the bad times just like the ebbs and flows. You got some big dips. You got some big dips on here. You damn near flatline.
Yeah, it was the
big
good
dips.
Times. The good times ain't never that good.
They really ain't.
Listen. I'm not riding or dying. We not bad boys for life. We not.
That's solid though. Like I said,
I just never want to feel like that again. I never want to feel. I never want to feel the way that I felt. Like it's just the lowest feeling on the planet.
And it costs you so much too, though. I just feel like going through these struggle love phases typically means you come out of the struggle and the toxicity phase. You come out there, the only people you have left is y'all two together because people have cut y'all off.
Yeah. But that's
very,
the
very
point,
sad.
though. That's
Yes.
the point, is because one, they want to isolate you.
Very isolating experience. Yep. They want to get
They
you to
want
yourself.
to get you by yourself, and a lot of people have a hard time trying to help their friends get out of these situations because they it's hard to go back, right? And it's hard when you go back. These relationships affect everybody in your life.
Yep.
And the eye opener for me was, my dad told me, he said, I really need you. I really need you to deep dive. I really need you to figure this out because I can't go to jail for you. You're putting me in a situation, you're putting me in these situations where I will unalive somebody and go to jail.
Yeah.
You're costing me my freedom, because my dad helped me pack my shit up and leave from my narcissistic ex 4 years ago. And 9 years ago, he couldn't help me, but I called him screaming on the phone when my ex beat me up.
Oh.
And I had to drive back from North Carolina back to Colorado, and he couldn't help me. And it was an eye opener for me, because he told me with my narcissistic ex, he said I was going to get my blicky, like I was going to bring it with me, and I'm so glad that I didn't. He said, but that's what I need you to think about, because it's a situation where I'm trying because my ex started screaming at me. He was running at me. Like it was not a good situation. And my dad was like, and I can handle things, right? I can handle a lot of things myself, but when it affects the people that I care about, that's when I really have that wake up call.
Yeah.
And so my dad was like, I can't go to jail. I can't lose my livelihood because of a relationship that you're in. And that was fair. And I was like, you know what? Because he was the only person I had to call on. He was the only person I had to call on to help me.
Yeah.
And, and my dad, at the time, because he's retired now, at the time, my dad was a probation officer. He worked in these situations. He worked with people. He worked with the offenders.
Yes.
And so
he knows.
He knows, yeah, and so he was just like, I need you. I this got to be it. This got to be the last one, because the next time you call, I can't be there.
I can't be in here with them.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I can't. Yeah. And so I was like, shit, like, well, if he can't help me, who's gonna help me? Then I gotta help myself. And so, obviously, things have changed a lot since then.
Shout out to your dad.
Shout out to my dad.
I know he watched the podcast. Shout out to
my dad. Shout out to my dad. And another thing that was hard that I didn't realize until afterwards was when he your father should never have to beg a man not to put their hands on his daughter. And when I was with my ex, he had witnessed us get into like a little argument, and then my ex went to my dad trying to manipulate the situation. Yeah. And my dad was like, listen, I don't care what happens. I'll come pick my daughter up tomorrow. I'll come get her shit tomorrow. I don't care. But please do not put your hands on my daughter. I don't care if y'all argue. I don't care what the case is. Please don't put your hands on my daughter. That broke my heart, hearing that my dad had to tell another grown-ass man, please do not put your hands on my daughter. And hindsight was 2020, but after I had to sit and think about that, and then now turning around where I'm, my dad and my husband talk all the time. My dad and my husband, because when we got married last year, my dad surprised me, flew out here, and witnessed me marry somebody that he knew was going to take care of me. Who knew
somebody you felt safe with. That's good.
Somebody I felt safe with. And so for me, that was like a breakthrough moment, because I was like shit, yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my dad, because my dad was, he had, so when you it affects the people in your life. It affects everybody in your life. And struggle love is just not it. Like that shit is not.
It ain't. It really, really ain't. You know what I mean? Love shouldn't hurt. Love does. You don't have to struggle to get here. Love is not supposed to hurt. Yeah. Love is not supposed to. You don't have to struggle to get here. You don't have to. And I think I know probably people are probably going to be like, well, isn't that the case with Lee and his wife? For you, I feel like the situation is a little bit different, right? Like, I would say it's different because, for the physical abuse part, there's not me. Not the emotional stuff. I'm just more, words. I'm a wordsmith with I'm emotionally violent, I
Yeah.
would say. But you get to the dynamic where I've actually put the word, like we talked about earlier, what are they doing? Actions and words matching up. Now I sent you that text message from 6 years ago.
From
That's
6
up.
years ago. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
text
He
message
sent
from
me.
6 years ago. I like, hey, search the word narcissist in your phone. And she pulled it up. I'm like, oh damn, that's the first message I said about narcissist.
Yeah.
March 9th of 2017. Been 6 years. I'm like,
2017.
I'm gonna put the work in. I've been working since then. You know.
And yes, your words match your actions.
Yeah.
And you have been doing so it's a little bit different, but
So,
you're not out here, you're not here, but you'll even say like, yes, me and my wife work things out, but don't idolize that, and don't use that. Don't use that as the staple of let's get through this because you see me and her do that.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? But
don't. You know, people were like, what about no? Like, are they putting the work in? What type of work? First of all, when they cross the line with the physical stuff, automatically that's like, my mind logs out. Then it's like we threw me through a wall one time. Like, my mind logs out.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to leave that person.
Yeah.
Because they sooner or later, because they already have the propensity to get to that point, they're gonna do it again sooner or later. When their words don't work,
it's gonna happen.
When their words don't work, their actions might. You see what I'm saying? They start to get physical. But I also say, like, what are they doing to? What consistency have they shown you prior to this to show you they even have the ability to put the work in?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I know people ask me, how did your wife know? Like, because even though I'm a narcissistic personality disorder, when through our relationship, when I said I was going to do something, I was consistent at doing it. Like, I'm gonna go back to school, get my degree. Boom, did that. Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm a successful real estate agent. Hey, I did this. When I set my mind to do something, I'm going to do it. So that's why I told her when I sent that message. That's why she was like, "Oh, damn, he already committed to it. I'm gonna go to therapy." Boom.
Yeah,
I've been in therapy since then. Since that year. So
it's not like you stopped either. Like, you're literally still in therapy.
Yeah, I'm still in therapy now. It's 2023, and I sent that message like over 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah.
That was crazy. I seen it. I was like, damn. I was like, wow. I said it on one of my on my YouTube channel. I was like, I wonder if she still got those messages. I like, search narcissist in your phone. She keeps everything. So I went through there. I was like, damn. I seen it. There's some other stuff in there too. It's worse. There's worse stuff in there, but but that was I was like, damn. I've been consistent. I've already been consistent through other things. You know what I mean? So I've been putting the work in. So I just like, have they been consistent in any other aspect of your relationship? Anything else? What have they shown you they can be consistent with? And I'm not talking about bad shit. Like, well, they've consistently cheated on me. No, no, not that. Really consistently. No, what type of good consistency? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
good consistency. Because that matters, y'all. I just feel like you got to empower yourself. I tell this to people, don't take hope from me. Yeah. Just don't do that, because like I said, what have they done? This is your life. You have to. I can't get. No, of course, I can say what I want to say. It's your life. You have to live it the way you want to live it. So protect your peace.
Yeah, protect your peace at all costs. Do what you got to do in your relationship. If you're not seeing the results, if you're not seeing them put the work in, if the only time that they're putting the work in is when you threaten to leave them, and that's when they're like, well, let's get married right now, or let's go to therapy right now. I'll call a therapist right now, but you've been begging them for a year and a half to go to therapy. The context clues are there. You gotta go off of what you're getting and what you've seen them do or not do or commit to in the duration of your relationship. Struggle love, toxic love, all of that shit is a myth. It's a fallacy. People hold on to that because they're like, okay, well, at one point in time, I know that they were capable of doing that. Yeah. But if they wanted to be that person the whole entire time, they'd be that person the whole entire time. My husband not once has not been a sweet, nice, consistent, communicative person. He's never not stopped being that person for a certain amount of time. Yeah. That's who he's been the whole entire relationship. He doesn't take shit away from me and then give it back. You don't take shit away from me and then give it back. Consistently, I've never once in my mind was like, okay, well, today he's not going to be this person, but maybe he'll be back to this person tomorrow. And then 6 years from now, he's still not that person. He's been this way the whole entire time. Yep. If they wanted to, they would. Struggle love ain't it. Toxic love ain't it. You don't have to physically fight for your relationship. You do not have to physically fight to make something work. You can't make a square fit in a circle.
Yep, there you go.
Don't force it to fit. It sucks and it's hard to walk away. It sucks and it's hard to leave because you don't want to start over. I would much rather be alone than lose myself ever again.
Yeah, I always tell people just don't look at it as walking away. Look at it as walking towards. Because when you walk away, you tend to look back.
Yep.
See if it's chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
See if it's trying to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
When you run in a race, you said you ran track, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, when you running track, you did not look back at the people who were chasing behind you.
Nope.
Forward focused.
Yep.
Forward focused. There you go. You're focused forward or moving
My
forward.
focus,
So
yes.
you have a goal in front of you. You don't look backwards to see who's chasing you down and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nope.
Go towards.
Go to what it is what do you want? What do you need? How do you get it? How do you achieve it? And if none of those questions and none of those answers have that person in it, that's your answer. Keep it pushing.
But
you got to do what you got to do.
What if I want them in it though? What if I want them
you
in
could, yeah, but your wants are much different than your needs.
I don't want to be without them. Y'all, yeah, but you have to do some work on yourself. You have to work it. You got to look internally.
Mm-hmm.
Also figure out if you think you're going through the struggle love dynamic, ask yourself, what are you getting from this person?
Yeah.
Dig deep. And you can't say nothing. Nothing cannot be the answer. You can't say nothing.
What are you getting from them? And if it's the only thing you're getting from them is trauma.
Yeah, you got to dig deep. I did it on one of my videos. I was like, what are you getting from this person? Because when I ask people that question, I'm like, so what are you getting from this person? Nothing. I'm like, no, that's not true. You're getting something from it, or you wouldn't be here. If you were getting absolutely nothing from this person, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
What are you
You're
getting?
getting something. You're
Nothing.
getting something.
They don't give me any kind of money. Like, they ain't my money, finances. Dig deeper. You have to dig deeper. It's kind of like you're digging. It's like you're digging up. You're unearthing something. You're digging deeper. Like, you have to keep digging deep until you hear that shovel, that mental shovel.
Big ass weeds in your backyard. You can't just take it off, and you got to dig down and deep, get to that root.
You hear something until you hit the chest. Like, you're digging for treasure. You hear the shovel hit the top of the chest. Like, I found it. Dig deep. Open that chest up and see what you're getting from this person. I feel like that helps you detach if you need to.
Yeah.
Dig deeper. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck sometimes. You can dig deeper. What's in that chest is gonna hurt sometimes, y'all.
But that's why a lot of people don't do that, because they don't. It hurts. They don't like to feel the emotions that come with it. They don't like to feel.
Gotta dig it.
They don't like to feel it.
Gotta dig it out.
All right, y'all. Well, this has been an excellent episode again. So, you know what I'm saying? Toxic love ain't it.
Yeah.
Don't glamorize other people's relationships. Take a deeper look into your relationship and identify what it is that you need in your relationship. If you're not getting somebody in your relationship, and if you're not able to communicate with your partner and work on it together, and they're battling you every step of the way, that's not you got to make it shake. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. And also, like I said, if y'all made it this far, thank you so much.
Yes.
Leave a suggestion. Y'all what do y'all want us to talk about? Leave a suggestion in the comment section. We're open to suggestions as well, y'all. We're gonna start putting more videos out. So more suggestions.
More suggestions. We're gonna start picking up the frequency on the stuff that we drop.
Yeah.
We're gonna start giving y'all more content. You know, we both have our own brands we're upholding, but we're working on this one. We're working on this together as well. So we definitely want to give the people what they want. So let us know. Let us know in the comment section. Let us know what topics you guys want to see. We'll open up polls and stuff on Instagram and all the other stuff too. So we'll give you guys the opportunity to let us know what you guys want to hear us talk about. You guys can find, like I said previously, all of our socials. I am Nia Renee, how to live a battered woman, known as Baldie.
Lee Hammock, mental illness, known as the Beast.
And thank you for tuning in to Baldie the Beast Podcast. See y'all next time.
Peace, peeps. That peace, that priceless peace.